Sauron versus the Lich King. Who would win? I don't think that Sauron is as much of a clear victor as you might imagine. Because Sauron is... So the argument that Sauron is more powerful than the Lich King is probably... It's like predicated on the assumption that because he's a Maiar spirit, that elevates him beyond the Lich King. Like that's probably what it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So how is that an argument? But at the same time, Ecthelion can kill Gothmog. And Ecthelion is only an elf. And Gothmog is also a Maiar spirit because he's a Balrog, and all the Balrogs are Maiar spirits that followed Melkor. Sauron can kill Lich King with his own ring. Sauron is immortal. Well, so is the Lich King. Lazy writing? Yeah, I'm sure Tolkien was lazy. They get reincarnated? No? Well, like, you killed Ner'zhul, but Ner'zhul wasn't destroyed. Yeah, but Sauron is godlike? Sauron is not godlike. Sauron is, like, 3 tiers below godlike. So, like, you have godlike as Eru-Ilúvatar, and then godlike, there's also the Valar, which are, like, on a whole nother level beyond... Like, Sauron, like, they're like, for example, like, Gandalf, who's Olrin, that's his name as a Maiar spirit, and he is actually basically, like, the Valar spirit who he reports to, what's his name? Manwë. And Manwë is the Valar spirit that he reports to. So they're not like, and also like Sauron is the same. He just reports to Melkor, who's effectively like the Lucifer of the story. So I don't think it's as simple as because he's this Maiar spirit, he's going to win. So let's go ahead. We're going to watch this. We're going to see what it has to say, because this is a very important topic.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by Bespoke Post and Shady Rays.
Bespoke Post and Shady Rays. Okay.
Sauron, the Lord of the Rings.
The Lich King, Warcraft's Lord of the Scourge.
Yep.
Evil has many shapes, but few can match the presence of these kings of blight and shadow.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Okay.
Within the timeless halls,
Is it too
at
loud?
the dawn
Sorry.
of creation, the supreme god Eru and his angelic Ainur created all of existence through a single
Is that better?
harmonious song.
But one of these angels just had to be a rebel. Melkor ruined that harmony, giving the world its many, many imperfections, like Wiz. Then after messing up God's hit single and going rogue, Melkor took up a new name just to be even more metal.
I actually don't think that Melkor took up the name Morgoth. I think actually the name Morgoth was given to him by the elves. I don't think that he took up the name himself. I thought the elves gave him that name. It was given to him. Yeah, I thought so. Because you have to keep in mind that it means enemy. Yeah, it means enemy in Elvish. And you have to also keep in mind that, like, Lord of the Rings has a lot of big parallels to the Bible. And it's the same how Lucifer became Satan in the Bible.
God.
Morgoth's power was impressive, daunting. Several Maiar, essentially lower-ranked angels, joined him in his frightening conquest of the world he had helped create.
And the Maiar spirits were the Balrogs.
And the greatest of these followers was one obsessed with destroying all life in the pursuit of bringing about complete order.
He used to be Myron, but under Morgoth's reign, he became the one and only Sauron.
There he is.
As the bigwig of Morgoth's forces, Sauron spent thousands of years bringing Middle-earth to its knees.
He's almost more a force of nature than anything else, able to create infernos, cause country-spanning earthquakes, and even absorb souls.
And because he's a weird angel spirit man, he can morph his body around his own soul however he wants, or just shed it like clothing and fight as a ghost.
He can morph far beyond that. He has appeared as something akin to both man and elf, attractive and deep.
I don't know if are these, like, I don't know if he can fight as an elf, or sorry, fight as a spirit. Is this actually in the like, I feel like any of the games, like the Shadow of Mordor, like, this is all he can. I didn't know if he could or not. I wasn't sure about that. Attractive? Yeah, Sauron is described as being very attractive. absolutely. Like, yeah, that was his form to the elves. That's how he convinced them to, you know, wear the rings of power. So it was Lucifer. Yeah, okay.
A werewolf, once thought to be the greatest wolf of all, and even a vampire.
Oh man, Tumblr's gonna go nuts with that.
Many of his greatest accomplishments are not due to his powerful magics and weaponry, but his inhuman cunning. Sauron is nothing less than a master of manipulation.
He's like if Loki and Satan did a fusion dance. He loves to trick someone with illusions, shadow magic, or just by toying with their sad, predictable, pathetic human emotions.
True.
Like when he convinced Saruman to join the evil side, who was basically a super wizard specifically meant to lead the charge against Sauron.
In some ways, Sauron is actually wiser than the master he served. In the most epic war to eclipse all other wars, humans, dwarves, elves, and more united to destroy Morgoth, casting what remained of Melkor into the void.
But Sauron saw it coming and bailed faster than me at a divorce hearing, just to show back up centuries later in the fiery pits of Mordor.
There, the Dark Lord created a plan to conquer everything. He fooled the elven smiths into forging 19 rings of power and planted them among the leaders of elven, man, and dwarven kind. All controlled by another ring he made in secret.
Of course.
The one ring to rule them all.
Yeah, I saw this in the movie.
One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh god, that's so epic. Think I'm into poetry now. Forged in the fires of Mount Doom using part of Sauron's own soul, the One Ring amplified his power and let him control the minds and actions of the other ring bearers.
The 9 kings of men were especially vulnerable and saw themselves reduced to twisted wraiths bent to Sauron's whim.
Yep, that's the Nazgul.
It wasn't any better for the less kingly humans. So much so that Sauron mind-controlled most of Numenor. We're talking about an island nation that could have had as many as 18 million people, and Sauron had them all at his creepy, pokey fingertips.
This led to retaliation from Eru, who had hardly directly intervened ever before, even against Morgoth. Eru sank Numenor, while Sauron was still on it. But the Dark Lord's spirit persevered, indestructible even against the wrath of God.
Sauron used the ring to build himself a new body. It may have cost a lot of power, but he took a biblical event to the face and went right back on to being evil.
And yet, putting so much power into one object did have drawbacks.
Which hit back hard when Isildur subtracted a digit from his hand.
The Warrior King did more than just cut off a finger. He took the ring and its power for himself. This act forced Sauron to retreat as a disembodied spirit, threatened by his own power in the hands of another. And should the One Ring be destroyed completely, Sauron's spirit could be rendered impotent beyond repair.
And that's what happened.
It isn't all bad, though. The ring can turn you invisible, create visions of impending doom, and has one hell of a defense mechanism.
Yeah, who'd want to destroy it when it makes you want it? Has a will of its own, with promises whispered even the best of us can't refuse. The greatest poultry dinner ever, Boomstick. Bourbon, pecan, parmesan, turducken. It's so precious.
What did you just do?
What? It sounded delicious. Well, ring or no ring, Sauron's a beast. He swatted away armies of soldiers, interrupted Mount Doom through sheer willpower. He has total control over his own being and can modify his soul at will. So he can definitely resist someone like spooky ghost Celebrimbor trying to dominate his spirit.
And being among the strongest Maiar, the peak of Sauron's power is beyond that of Osei, a lesser Maya, which is specifically important because Osei single-handedly raised the island of Numenor.
Yeah, remember that island that got Noah'd? That place. No wonder everyone wants his ring. Who could turn down that much power?
Not Isildur. The hearts of men are easily corrupted, and he kept the ring rather than destroy it. But in the end, the ring destroyed him and waited for its master's return.
Sauron was rebuilding Mordor into a world-conquering force. And after a little bit of good old-fashioned torture, he found out the ring was in the Shire. The chillest, coziest, dopest place imaginable. Ah, man, when I retire, I'm gonna go live in a hobbit hole and just get lit 24/7.
And so began the War of the Ring. Sauron's forces covered the land, seeking both the ring and the downfall of man, always shadowed by the symbol of his ever-present influence, the Eye of Sauron.
It was a slaughter fest. Middle-earth stood no chance, Everybody basically accepted death by orcs as inevitable. It was hopeless. The kingdoms of men would finally fall for good.
Save for the Dark Lord's truest weakness. Sauron's cunning and stratagems were impressive, sure, but ultimately, he never truly understood the people of Middle-earth. In his mind,
Isn't it crazy this shit came out 20 years ago, it still looks good? I feel like I watch movies that came out 3 years ago, they don't look as good as Lord of the Rings did. That's nuts, right? Yeah. Oh my god.
absolute power was factually irresistible. He never imagined a mere mortal could ever, or would ever, seek to actually destroy the One Ring.
Against all odds and a whole lot of walking, Sauron was defeated. Not by the sparkly new king or the armies of Middle-earth, but by the most unlikely creature imaginable, Elijah Wood.
Yet, even as a formless shadow, Sauron's legacy remains one of domination, treachery, and most of all, fear. Fitting for the being that represents, and I quote, as near an approach to the holy evil will as is possible.
So Sauron's
This episode of Death
pretty
Battle is
much a
sponsored by
badass.
Bespoke Post.
Okay.
Gear up for fall with Bespoke Post and their new seasonal lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections.
Bespoke Post partners with small businesses and emerging brands to bring you the most unique goods every month.
Like the hot sauces in the Scorch Box combined from brands all across the country, perfect for some deliciously devilish home cooking.
No matter what you have going on this season, Box of Awesome has you covered.
From camping
Gandalf was
gear
instructed
essentials to
not to
travel
directly
must-haves and
intervene. So Gandalf was, but Gandalf was also afraid of Sauron. And that's one of the reasons why Manwë sent him to Middle-earth to fight Sauron. So Gandalf would not have intervened even if he could have. So that's not entirely true.
Autumn cocktail kits, Box of Awesome has everything you need for fall.
I'm personally digging all the sick knives in boxes like Terra, Forge, and River.
Each box is valued at about $70, but you'll only be paying a fraction of that.
Sauron felt the
It's
same
totally
with
free to
Gandalf.
sign up too, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime.
I don't
no
think
sweat.
that's true.
Get 20% off
I
your
never
first
heard
monthly
that
box
before.
when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code DEATHBATTLE at checkout.
That's boxofawesome.com, code DEATHBATTLE for 20% off your first
If
box.
you're- yeah, I never heard of Sauron being afraid
code
of Gandalf.
DEATHBATTLE.
On the distant planet of Draenor, destruction was imminent. The orc shaman Ner'zhul prepared a spell with his followers to tear the planet asunder, all to escape the fury of the demon lord Kil'jaeden.
But when Ner'zhul waltzed through the portal, Kil'jaeden was right there waiting for him.
Ner'zhul was forced to serve Kil'jaeden's will to ravage another world, Azeroth. Thus, he was transformed into the first Lich King.
This Lord of the Dead was sent to the continent of Northrend, but Kil'jaeden had one more twist for poor Zul. His body was gone, leaving just his spirit, which was bound to a set of armor sealed within a prison of magical ice. Man, this guy can't catch a break. Armor looks sick, though. He's gonna...
Ner'zhul really did get fucked over, man. I feel like he really got finessed. Pretty much like everything bad that could have happened to him pretty much did.
Test me if I put that on, huh?
From his frozen prison, the Lich King would begin his conquest, conjuring an unstoppable plague of undeath. Soon, this would threaten the lives of the kingdom of Lordaeron.
Okay, so that was a lot, but here's where our main guy finally shows up.
Okay.
Lordaeron's crown prince and holy knight, Arthas Menethil. Yeah, his name does kind of sound like something your doctor would give you for fungus, but hey, no. Arthas was a badass. At 19 years old, he was considered one of the best swordsmen in the world and had mastered nearly every weapon he could.
Even with such a skilled warrior as its prince, Lordaeron was already severely pressured by a war with an orcish horde, so a zombie plague was the last thing Arthas needed. Compounding this even further, Ner'zhul managed to break free of Kil'jaeden's power and turned his attention toward creating a champion to lead his ever-growing scourge. Naturally, he chose Arthas.
Who was a stressed out mess, to the point where he tried to stop the plague by killing everyone in his own city.
He was right. That was the right call.
Holy shit! Yeah, he was totally losing it. So here
No, Jaina pussied out. So did Uther. Yeah, he was totally right about everything. Arthas did nothing wrong.
a creepy voice in his head really didn't help.
Long story short, in his efforts to protect his realm, Arthas discovered a rune blade and took it for himself. This was the fearsome Frostmourne.
Surprise! It's the source of the Lich King's power.
Wow.
He was stealing souls and storing them within the blade. With this new ice-cold cleaver in hand, Arthas lost his soul and got a Death Knight makeover.
And so the former hero of light would lead the very scourge he previously fought.
And in time, Arthas would don the armor for himself, giving the Lich King a new, ultimate power. Walking!
Remember, everything the Lich
about
King
all
had
we
done
did.
up until this point had been from his prison within a literal block of ice.
And this new Sauronite armor, Saronite armor, is the best. Like, what was it doing stuck in ice all this time when it's made of old god blood and self-repairs? Screw you, blacksmith! You're never taking my hard-earned gold! I'll never have to get naked and die again!
I
By
didn't know it
donning
was
this dark
Saronite
helm,
armor.
Ner'zhul and Arthas fused to become one, a being far more powerful than either had been before.
He could effortlessly cover cities in ice storms, murder hundreds with the power of
Yeah, it wasn't-
shadow,
I didn't think
and
it was.
learn all of your secrets with the Eye of Acheris.
Azeroth's fate was sealed. Everyone was doomed.
See this guy? He's Illidan, a 15,000-year-old demon hunter with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. As a Death Knight, Arthas could take him down, even after fighting through a massive army to get to him. Against this new Lich King, Illidan never stood a chance.
This is
I disagree with that. It was stated in the lore that the only reason why Illidan lost to him is because Illidan didn't take him seriously enough. And if Illidan had actually tried in the fight, he would have won. Like, that's what it says in the lore. Like, I'm not saying, like, this is what the lore says. Is that Illidan wasn't taking the fight seriously.
important because Illidan had absorbed the power of Gul'dan,
According
an
to
orc
Illidan?
warlock who,
Yeah.
alongside his followers, raised the Broken Isles out of the sea, a massively powerful feat of magic.
The fact that Arthas, a mortal guy, beat him up is a big deal. Just imagine how kick-ass he'd be in full control of the undying Lich King powers. Oh wait, we don't have to.
Ner'zhul may have pulled Arthas' strings up until this point, but he had made a drastic miscalculation. Within the mind of the Lich King, Arthas battled Ner'zhul for control, and won. The power of Frostmourne, of the Scourge, of Undeath itself, was now under the command of Arthas.
And by this
Apparently these guys didn't play Shadowlands. Yeah, this was all part of the Jailor's plan, actually.
point, he was just done. Like, with everything. We've all had one of those days, right? Where you see all of humanity is so pathetic they can only be saved by just killing them all, so you rip out your own heart.
Yeah, that's
relatable.
normal.
Determined to end all life, Arthas led his scourge across Azeroth, spreading the plague to every corner of the world. He slaughtered every contender in his path, including legendary champions like this hero of the Horde, Dranosh Sarfang.
Who the Lich King bitch slapped to death in one hit, then zombified to serve him instead. Man, that didn't go well.
The
Yeah.
Lich King seemed unstoppable.
Only one thing could take him down. A 25-man raid team of the best nerds World of Warcraft servers had to offer.
True.
And that one guy who was just there because he was friends with somebody, but damn, he sucked.
With
Yeah,
these
yeah.
heroes triumphant, the Paladin Tyrion shattered Frostmourne with an equally legendary blade, ending the Lich King's vile reign.
But the Scourge doesn't work on Phantom Menace Battle Droid rules, so there must always be a Lich King to keep the relentless undead in check.
Yet no Lich King before or since ever matched the terror and malice Arthas brought to Azeroth.
That's true.
Without a
Bolvar
doubt,
was
one
a
of the
pussy
most
bitch.
terrifying kings to ever conquer the world of Warcraft.
Okay.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by
All right.
Shady Rays.
All right.
Are you looking for
Okay.
an industry best combination of fit, style, and performance without the big brand price tag? Shady Rays has got all of that to make your perfect summer complete.
It's not just quality. Every pair of Shady Rays is backed by
Somebody
lost
ads
and
to?
broken
Well,
replacements.
I mean, dude,
If you lose or
I
break
feel
your
like
pair,
ads
even
on
on day
YouTube are
one,
no
they'll
big
send
deal.
you a brand new pair. Wear them without fear because Shady Rays has your back long after you purchase.
And with every order, they provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America. That's over 20 million meals to date. You get to look good with your shades and feel good by making an impact.
If you don't love them, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days.
There's no risk when
Yeah,
you
it
shop
takes a
with
long
Shady
time to
Rays.
research this stuff.
Exclusively for our viewers, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season.
Go to
It's like if you get free
shadyrays.com and use
content, you
code
gotta pay for it
DeathBattle for
somehow. You
50%
either pay
off
for it
2
with
plus
money or
pairs of
time.
polarized sunglasses.
That's just how
Try
it
for
is.
yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people.
Sounds shady? Yeah, true.
All right, the combatants are set. We run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for an undeath battle!
Okay. Oh, it's Sylvanas again.
I shall claim what is mine. In this cold north, you will find only death.
Did they animate this whole thing? That's badass. Wow. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Holy shit. Where'd the dog come from? What the fuck?
I'll tear out your heart. You will find nothing there.
Oh, I saw this in the
Your
cinematic.
efforts are for naught.
Damn, that's actually pretty cool. Holy shit.
I see you.
It's legit, yeah, it's pretty cool.
You serve me now. I serve no one.
It does, he serves Melkor.
Witness the prophecy of your doom. You speak nothing but lies.
Are these their stands? God damn. It's the eye of the jailer? Yeah, exactly.
There is no life in the void. Only death.
Damn. So the Lich King loses. Okay, let's find out why.
KO! Well, if he wasn't all-powerful before, look out for supercharged Sauron now.
Despite the Lich King's impressive power, Sauron's might was absolute.
But not before he got the duel of his life in a crazy close bout. First up, both Dark Lords could counter pretty much any mind or soul-screwing powers, making a lot of
about
their
right.
usual tricks way less noteworthy in this match.
To be fair, the Lich King severely debilitated Sauron via his plague of undeath. Most physical bodies would not survive such a disease.
So Sauron just got rid of his body. Who needs it? Especially when you can rebuild one or just start fighting as a ghost. Both things Sauron could do.
After all, the plague is intended for organic mortal enemies and has never infected a spirit.
Another smaller
Yeah, the
point for
plague wouldn't
Sauron
do
was his
anything to him.
weakness.
That's true.
The Lich King was a clever bastard, but even with the Eye of Icarus, it would have been tough for him to decode and destroy the One Ring. Meanwhile, given enough power, Sauron would naturally end up destroying Frostmourne. He's kinda got a thing for breaking swords.
So let's compare their power. While their highest
I'm not convinced that Sauron could destroy Frostmourne. I'm not convinced by this. Because, you see, Frostmourne was created with, like, the Forge of Domination. It's literally made from metal from another planet. Whereas, I don't know what Sauron's mace even is. Tyrion did? Yeah, but you have to understand that Tyrion, the Ashbringer was forged from a crystal that came from the Naru. It came from another, like, a dimension or another world. It was basically like a fucking a holy space crystal. So like the Ashbringer was not just like a random sword. It was no like bullshit, right? It was an actual fucking, it was like a holy weapon of power. And also, you have to keep in mind that Tyrion caught the Lich King slipping. It's not like the Lich King lost a fair fight. You've got to keep that in mind. Like, the Lich King one-shot Tyrion, like, froze him into an ice block in, like, 1 second. And then the second after that, he beat everybody in Azeroth. You got to remember, the Lich King won. The only reason he lost is because Tyrion caught him slipping. Narsil was an epic blade, and Sauron shattered it. Narsil was made... Yeah, so Narsil was made just with steel, right? I feel like there's no magic steel with Narsil. I'm fairly certain there's not. Yeah, it was in the first age. Yeah, and Sauron did not have a mace. Read the text on the screen. An unnamed Eridar destroyed the surface of a planet but cannot scale to the Lich King, and as Eridar vary in power. Similarly, special Maiar have moved the sun and moon, but it is unclear how they compare to Sauron. Scaling both generously, Sauron would still be more powerful. I think Sauron is like one of the, if not the most powerful Maiar spirit. Yeah, I would say so. That's like not even a question. Narsil is not just steel, it's elvish magic. I feel like elvish magic is still not even on the same level as like a literal holy meteorite that came from holy spirits from another world. Like, I'm sorry, but I think that Ashbringer is way more powerful than elvish magic, okay? Sauron was also a master smith, and that was his own thing? Yes, he was. That's true.
Limits are certainly nebulous. Interestingly enough, some of the most impressive feats from both worlds involve lifting islands. As Sauron is a more powerful Maya than Osei, and the Lich King could reliably defeat someone with Gul'dan's magic, it is possible to gauge the difference in power by
Whoa.
measuring the islands that were raised.
Keep in mind, Gul'dan had a bunch of help, so we're only giving him his share. Turns out, Osei was doing twice the work.
By examining official maps to determine the volume of the islands, we found a difference between lifting 2 quadrillion tons of rock versus 4 quadrillion tons, among further energy required to actually lift these through the ocean, of course. Both impressive, sure, but Sauron had the edge.
And for the final nail in the coffin, the Lich King might have been super...
When compared to Balrogs and Illidan, Sauron and the Lich King could both reach hypersonic levels around Mach 30. I feel like the Lich King with the Helm of Domination, like Arthas, the Lich King Arthas, with the Helm of Domination and Frostmourne fully fused with Ner'zhul as the Lich King would be more powerful than Illidan. I think no question. But I think before that, whenever he just had Frostmourne, I think that he would have lost to Illidan if Illidan had gone all in. I think so.
Were scary, but he really wasn't around for all that long. At least not when compared to the experience Sauron has warring with the world for thousands of years.
That is very true.
The Lich King certainly posed a threat to Sauron, but the ruler of Mordor's awesome might, enduring spirit, and millennia of treachery proved him the superior Dark Lord.
I think that actually that's probably the strongest argument in this whole video, that Sauron literally has been alive for over 50,000 years, and he's this is a master manipulator that was able to enslave basically every race of people that was around, and he only lost because he got his hand cut off or some bullshit, right? It was like kind of like, you know, it's kind of a bit of a plot device. But yeah, other than he's literally a god. Yeah, the jailer though, but this isn't the jailer, this is the Lich King. Like the jailer would be equivalent of like Morgoth, right? Or Melkor.
Ow!
Is that it?
What? Are you sour on the pun? I was pretty keen about it.
The winner is Sauron.
Let me think about this.
Hey, if you want more Death Metal ASAP, why not grab a membership? You'll get
Okay.
exclusive emotes, badges, live
So-
chat, live streams, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. Just click that join button.
Do I agree
Thanks for
with
watching.
this? Would Sauron win? I think that it's like very hard to say, but I would say that if it was in a fair fight of just combat and martial prowess, it would be a lot closer. Maybe Sauron would win, maybe not. But I think that contextually around who Sauron was, he would win for sure, because he just is way more patient. He's way more cunning. He's way more manipulative. And I think based off of that, there's no way that the Lich King would possibly have a chance against that.